Hey you guys, so it's Kiyoshi and I'm back for another video. If you enjoy my videos, please give them a thumbs up. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any more videos from me. Without further ado, let's just get into today's video. Alright you guys, as you can tell from the title of today's video, I am going to tell you guys how I budget for big ticket items or trips. In this video, I get a lot of questions about how I budget for certain things. I got a lot of questions on how I budgeted for New York. I got a lot of questions about how I budgeted for these new decks and just anything that I buy, big ticket items or big things that I do, even my little solo mini trips. You guys are very interested on how I am able to achieve these items. And I know a lot of you guys are very inquisitive because I am a single mom. I do have one income and I have 2 children and I run a full household. I work full time and I'm still able to get the things that I want in my life, but it's not without a lack of planning and getting my life together. So if you guys want to know all my little tips and tricks about how I do it, it's so simple, you guys. It's not anything that's mind-blowing. It's not nothing that I made up on my own. This is just stuff that I have seen and researched and have incorporated in order for me to be able to achieve the items that I want to achieve, such as taking my kids on a trip to New York or budgeting and getting these new decks put into my home and taking little solo trips here and there. So if you guys want to know what those items are, then just keep on watching. All right, you guys, so the first tip is to know how much you will need. Do not go into any travel plans, any big ticket item purchases, houses, cars, renovations without knowing how much it's going to cost. Do not take everybody's word for, oh, it didn't cost me that much. Oh, it'll be fine, about $3,000. No, you need to do your own research, okay? I have gone on trips with people before and they're like, oh, it'll be this much. And then I under budgeted, didn't have enough money, trusting what other people say. Know how much you need. Know how much it's going to cost, or at least have a estimate, and always err on the higher side, okay? Never underestimate how much money you need. Always, always, always overestimate how much money you need. You can shop around depending on what it is. You can shop around for flights. You can shop around for hotels. If you have a certain budget that you need to stick in with, then you just have to search around for what works for you. Just know, going on a trip with somebody, unless you're staying somewhere, especially if it's a group trip, y'all don't always have to stay at the same hotel. You can find you another hotel that's cheaper than the one they're staying at. You can find you an Airbnb, and y'all all can, you and some other people who on a budget can stay in the Airbnb together and still pay less money than the hotel. It's like so many options when it comes to budgeting where you want to go and what you can spend and what you can afford. Even with home renovations, you don't have to go with the first contractor that you get a quote from. You just need to make sure they're licensed and don't tear your stuff up, but that part. But you can shop around. You can wait until the slow season. You can wait until construction is, you know, not the best, or materials go down. It's just so many options. And always be honest. Always be honest with whoever you are about how much money you could spend, okay? When you plan for stuff, don't go over your budget. If you have a budget, stick firm. This is my budget. I cannot go over. You just have to make a choice. Either I can or cannot go on this trip, or I need to find some more money from somewhere, or I can or cannot do this renovation right now. I need to save a little bit more money. You see what I'm saying? So always know how much you will need to spend, and always overestimate how much you need to spend. The second thing is to set up a separate account. I set up a separate account for my savings. I do not put my savings in my checking account. I do not put in my savings in my regular savings account. Why? Because it's connected to my checking account, and I can transfer money in and out of those accounts at any time that I choose, and I found that that is not a good way to keep your money. So I would get a full separate account in a separate bank. Yes, I go that far. Sometimes I get an itch. Sometimes I get a tickle. Sometimes I get a thought in my mind that, ooh, if I just spend a little $200 out of my savings account, you know, it ain't gonna make no big deal. It's not gonna bother anything. I can easily put it back in there. The answer is no, okay? Every time I say that, ask me, did I put some money back? Did the money go back in the account? It did, but it didn't go back. Like, I would put what I regularly put in there, but I didn't put extra to cover for what I took out, if that makes sense. So never, ever, ever, ever have it in the same checking account. Don't have it in the same savings account. Don't even have it in the same bank, okay? I do that on purpose. Like my saving account, I literally have to do a lot to get that money. There is no card set up to it. There's no checks set up to it. I literally have to transfer the money out and wait days for it to get into my account. So by the time I have to wait days and no one's gonna be there, I don't even want it no more. Like I don't even want it. I wanted it right then. Now I gotta wait 5 days for it to come out of my savings account to get it. So that kind of deters me from spending money when I'm not supposed to anyway. So make sure you just put it in a separate account. Make sure you spend it from that account. I do have a savings account and I have a checking account at this other bank where I save for bigger ticket items, but I also don't carry that debit card around with me. I don't carry it anywhere. It always stays at home. It's always in my safe. And I don't pull it out unless I'm gonna go on vacation. And even then, sometimes I don't pull it out. What I'll do is I will spend everything on my credit card and then I will pay my credit card back with that money. That way I just don't keep swiping, you know what I'm saying? So it just depends to you or how disciplined you are or how headstrong you are about saving for what you want, because at the end of the day, most people who don't save for what they want sabotage themselves by not sticking to what they said they're going to do. So this kind of helps deter you by putting in a different savings account, putting it somewhere out of sight, out of mind. Money automatically goes in there every single month, and then you don't have to worry about whether you have the money or not, especially if you're saving. You have a timeline, you know when it'll be done, when you'll have to stop putting money in there. You should have the money at the time that you need it. So just try that out if you haven't tried it. All right, and that moves on to my third tip. Make this a line item in your budget. I literally just talked about it 5 seconds ago. Do an automatic transfer. Act like it's another bill. When I have a vacation fund, which is for me and the kids, and then I have a travel fund, which is my personal fund. Every single month I am transferring money into those accounts, okay? Every single month I am transferring a lump sum into my savings account that is not in the bank that I get my paycheck and all that other kind of stuff. Is a completely separate savings bank account. I transfer money in there diligently every single month to meet the goals that I want to meet. I save extra money in other places as well. But if you make it a line item in your budget, make it a non-negotiable, you will meet your goal. A lot of people be like, oh, I could save money, but I want to do this. I want to go out to eat. I want to go with my friends. But if you make it a bill and you make it go out every single month, you're only going to spend what's left over. There is no, oh, I thought I would have money left over to put in a savings account towards my, you know, my goals or whatever I wanted to do, my travel goals or my big ticket items, but I spent all the money and I didn't realize I spent all the money, because it can happen. It's happened to me before. But if you make it a line item in a bill, there's no excuse. Whatever's left over, even if you spend all the money that's left over after you take out all your bill money and everything you need to do, you have still saved for that item, because it was part of your line item in your budget and you had already transferred that money over. So then you won't feel as guilty. You'll still feel guilty because you'll be like, now I'm broke and I gotta wait next paycheck. But at least you're still saving towards your goal, because I've done that too. Don't beat yourself up about it. You'll get there. So make it a line item in your budget. Make it just like any other bill that has to be paid, and pay it. There you go. Another thing you can do is go over your budget and see what you can cut out. A lot of time people say, I can't save for this, I can't save for that, I don't have any money left. Let me tell you something. One year, I think I was like that. I think I was talking to Alicia about it, and she's like, are you really, can you really not save for this stuff? Like, you sure, Kiosha? And I got real, I was like, well, can I? So I went through my budget and I started paying attention to what I was spending money on that I should not be spending money on. I got rid of all of my subscriptions. I have no Netflix, I have no streaming, no, what's it called, Paramount, and all the other BET Plus. I ain't got none of that. I ain't even got cable. I got the internet, and I got YouTube, and I got Amazon Prime membership. That's about it. Them the only streaming items I have. And I used to stream, I actually was paying for a streaming service. It was like $60 every 3 months or something like that. Something to get on a Fire Stick. I stopped paying for that. Like, I literally realized I wasn't watching TV. What are you still paying the $60 for? You barely turn the TV on, and when you do, you're going to YouTube anyway. So why pay for something that you're not even watching? $60 saved. $60. Where that $60 go? Into that little savings account. The more the merrier, okay? So just look through your budget, see what you can cut out, see what you can trim, see what you can reduce. I reduced a lot of stuff. I remember I used paying like $200 and something for like 2 cell phone lines, and now I only pay like $120 for 3 cell phone lines because I went from postpaid to prepaid. I don't get the latest, greatest phone. When my phone breaks, I'll finance it with Apple, pay it off before the little financing is up, and then I ain't pay no interest, and I have a new phone too. But I also don't get the latest, greatest. I don't need a new phone every time a new phone come out. I could care less. All I need is a call and make a damn call. As long as it calls somebody in an emergency, I'm good with it. Until it stops working or acting stupid, I could care less. I think I got an iPhone, shit, what is it, 12? I might got the 12 Pro Max. What are we on, 17, 18? What number phone we on, y'all? 15, 16? I don't even know what number. What are we on, the iPhone 16? I think we're on 16, right? Or is it 15? I don't know. One of them. We're on 15 or 16. I still got 12. And before I got the 12, I had 8. So, you know, just some things. And I'm truly am an electronic person. I love the latest, greatest iPads, laptops, iMacs, all of that kind of stuff. But I had to realize, Kyosh, okay, your computer worked fine. It may be a little slow. That means you need to, you know, set aside time for editing, not at the last minute, ahead of time, because you know your computer's old, it may act a fool, and that kind of makes me do things that I should be doing because I know my computer may or may not act right today, okay? But I plan for those things. I'm planning to get a new iMac next year. I'm saving for the new iMac. I'm getting my life together to get the new iMac, but right now, I still have my old one. I think I bought this one. It's a 2015 version. Can't remember what year I bought it, but I've had it a very long time. So it does what I need it to do. So just think about that when you are going through your budget. See what you can cut out, see what you can reduce. Do you have to buy something new every single year? Do you have to get a new iPad every year? Do you have to get a new phone? Can you use that $1,200, that $1,500 towards something else? And a lot of people say, well, I didn't pay it out right. I put it on my phone bill. Okay, if you put an extra $30 on your phone bill every single month, you could have put that $30 in your savings account, okay? Did you need a new phone? Did you really need one? No, I don't think so. That part. So just think about it. It's still up to you all in the end. You know what you need better than anybody, but just some things to think about. The next item is check in with your goals periodically to make sure you're on track. For me, I usually check in every quarter. Every single month, I say I'm going to do a certain amount every single month in these areas, in these plans that I have for myself when it comes to big ticket items or trips. And I check in every quarter to see where I am. And depending on when that trip is supposed to be or when that goal is supposed to be met, I could have been saving for this started last year and I'm still checking in every quarter this year. It just depends on how long you're saving for these items, okay? So for the porch for 10 years, decks replaced, finally 10 years, I started cutting out stuff. I started doing projects that I could hire people out to do, like painting. I didn't hire nobody to paint this stuff. You know why? Because that would have took away from me getting my decks, okay? That would have took away from me being able to save for these decks and for this furniture that go on this deck, okay? For me to be able to pay this monthly installment. I just took the time and energy to paint myself. Was it time consuming? Was it tiresome? Yes, it was. But when I check into my goals, when I check into my savings, when I check into where I want to be, guess what? I'm there. I'm there. I'm on track. Maybe sometimes I get a little behind. I can catch up sometimes. Sometimes I can't, and then we'll have to go a little bit longer. But me doing things myself, cutting things out, going out to eat less, spending less money, staying home more, really, really makes me reach my goals that much quicker. Because what you don't, what y'all probably do understand, because I had to understand the hard way, is when you say, oh, this little money ain't gonna really take away from my goal. It may cost me like a extra paycheck or another month. That one extra month turned to 2 extra months, then turned to 3, then it turned to 4. You know why? Once you start spending money willy-nilly, you just keep on spending money. There's no such thing as stop, reel myself in. You don't start reeling yourself in until you know that you're nowhere near the goal that you wanted to reach, if that makes sense. So I remember I was spending money, buying stuff. And what really made me stop was I went to look at my goals and I was like, I'm way behind on my goals. Like, what's going on? I wasn't putting money in my account. I didn't have it as a line item in my budget. And then the next thing you know, I wasn't where I was supposed to be. So that's why you need to check in. You need to check in. And the only way you can check in is if you have a timeline. I want to achieve this goal in 6 months. So that means every single month for the next 6 months, I need to check in to see if I'm going to make it where I'm going to go make it. Now, one of my favorite things to do is use YNAB. You guys have seen me talk about it in my earlier videos. Sometimes I think I've talked about it on this channel a little bit. I love YNAB. You know why I love YNAB? Because I don't have to check in with myself every single month. When I go and do my budget, that YNAB tell me whether I'm at my goal. It tells me, oh, you're 3 months away, or you're 5 months behind. If I don't put any money into that actual account when I'm supposed to, when I tell it when I want to reach this goal, it'd be like, oh, you didn't put any money last month, so now you guys put in, instead of putting $15 a month, now you gotta do 30. Like, it tells you, it like recalculates, it reevaluates when you want to reach a goal, how much money you want to have. And if you're not putting money in there, it will readjust it every month. Say, okay, this month you owe yourself $150, child, because you ain't put no money in this goal in the last 3 months. Now, if you put in the last 3 months, you only had to put $50 in, but since you didn't, now you got to put $150 in. Like, so I really like it. I was doing spreadsheet, and it's really hard sometimes doing a spreadsheet and calculating stuff on your own because you'll get lazy. I don't feel like sitting here calculating. I don't feel like figuring out how far behind I am. When you have a program that does it for you, it's a lot easier to stay on track. It's a lot easier to stay within your goals. And so YNAB for me is only $99 a year. Like, for me to stay on goal and on track and to be able to do and achieve the things that I dream of, I'm gonna pay my little $99 because you know why? I can spend $99 at H&M. I can spend $99 eating out for a week. I can spend $99 just going to buy a pair of shoes. So guess what? We're not gonna eat out for a week. We're gonna pay $99, and it's only $99 a year. Like, it's not even $99 a month. It's like a year. So I love that program. If you haven't seen it or tried it out, you should. You can get a free trial. I'll leave my little code down below. I think if you sign up, I get a free month. You get a free month. Whatever it is, child, I don't know. But I'll leave it down low. Check it out. I love it so very much. All right, and the last thing is, don't try to do too much at one time. I know we all have so many goals, so many life ambitions, so many just hopes and dreams and goals and all of that. But sometimes when you try to do too much, it really deters you from meeting your goals because you feel like a failure when you're trying to do too much at the same time. So for instance, I think one year I was trying to do like home renovation. I was trying to go on trips and I was trying to do all this stuff. And I was very, very, very upset when I got my home renovation and I didn't have any more money to do my trip. I was like, oh my God, I want to do my trip. I don't have any money. And I was just like, oh, and I was like, and I didn't even take into account that I finished my whole home renovations that I wanted to do. I was just so upset about that one thing about not being able to go on that trip. And mind you, I achieved one goal, but I didn't achieve the other one, which in my mind was still a good thing. But back then it was all about, I wanted to do everything all at the same time and be able to tackle the world. And it just was not reality. You can't tackle the world. You can only do so much, child. Unless you're rich and have endless damn money, you can only do so much. And so you need to have a timeline of priorities. So for instance, when I do home projects and I know I want to travel, I pick the least expensive home projects. So I'll pick like, let's paint and put in some baseboards. I know I can spend like $600 and still be able to travel. Let's, instead of traveling out of the country, let's travel in the United States, which is a lot cheaper than traveling out of the country. Let's do a mini trip instead of a week-long trip. And that way I can, you know, get my decks done, but I can still travel. So these are just examples, but that's the kind of thing you need to be. So when you make your list of what you want to do, put it in the order of priority, and don't try to tick off too many things all in the same time, okay? Space it out. Like I said, I've been doing home renovations for the last 18 years I've been in this house, but this is only my third major project on this house. So the first major project was getting my roof done. The second major project was getting all the floors replaced in my home. The third major project was getting a new air conditioning unit. And this is just my fourth major project of getting my deck replaced in the front and getting a deck built and a door put in where a window was, like taking the wall out and putting in a door where a window was. So out of 18 years, I've done 4 projects that are major, that took other people than me. The last thing is patience. There's no such thing as instant gratification. Stop it. Doesn't exist. Okay? When you're looking for instant gratification, that's when things go left, right, or right. Okay? That's where you start feeling ungrateful. You start feeling jealous. You start feeling envy because you want to have things as fast as other people do. Not possible. Not factual. Can't do it. You know why? Because what they did to get it, you may not be able to do. The blood, sweat, and tears that they went through, you might not be able to do. Or you think they got instant gratification. You think that they all of a sudden just got a new roof. You don't know what they had to do to get that roof. You don't know if that girl worked late nights, if she worked overtime, if you just saw the fruits of her labor, okay? You didn't see the labor that got the fruit, okay? That part. So keep that in mind before y'all be jealous and envious of people. Because like I said, you never know what happened in the end to get where they got, to get what they have, okay? So just don't. Stick within your budget, stick within your means, and be happy with what you have. Be grateful for what you have, because once again, what you have, somebody may want. Somebody always has something more than what somebody else has. I am very grateful for what I have, because there's people who don't have what I have. There's family members who don't have what I have. There's friends who don't have what I have. So I am very grateful for what I have, and I try to take care of what I have. So just remember that. Patience and gratefulness is the last thing I would say. Don't look at others. Keep in mind that what's for you is for you, and it may not come all at one time, but it'll be right on time. All right, you guys, so that's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed my tips on how I save for big ticket items and trips. Put in the comments below anything that I didn't mention that you think anybody else can use, and we can have a conversation in the comments. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any more videos from me. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.